Identify gamers, we have to take a look at the new buffs and nerfs. There's not a lot of them, but there are some pretty interesting ones, and let me tell you, these are significant changes. These are really going to impact Koa 9, especially. I think they're also getting put into the server very soon, unless I'm reading it incorrectly. So let's not waste any time and take a look. All right, so these changes come from Mori_identity on Twitter.com. And let's go through the Persona Web changes first. There are only 3 of them. First up, we have audience effect. They finally did it, bro. After so long, they finally killed audience effect. For those who don't know, audience effect was a very, very strong trait. Somewhat cheap as well. It only took, I think, 15 points to get. And if you had borrowed time, it was only 10. Absolutely ridiculous. It would basically give you a 10% decoding buff as long as you didn't pop more than 2 ciphers, and that was at any point throughout the match when someone was chaired. So you could get that all the way up until the end game, which was just absolutely ridiculous. Ciphers were basically done in some matches within 3 minutes. It was absolutely ridiculous. So finally, they decided, hey, let's get rid of the whole condition for it, and now you only get the buff when total cipher progress during the match reaches 300. So like if it's below 300% on all cipher machines, you only get it for just a little bit longer. So for example, let me tell you, like in a standard paced game, this is really gonna help survivors tie a lot. So like let's say, you know, you get down to 20 seconds. You could be able to use audience effect just by having it on your Persona Web. You don't even have to like worry about popping ciphers and whatnot, like, or not popping them, I should say. You just get it. It's all about total percent. However, this is gonna be really good for like tying, but only after like first rescue, right? So usually in an average pace game, at least for tourney, usually when a survivor dies, ciphers are usually around like 60, 60, 50, or like 70, 70, 60, right? Okay, well, 2 cipher machines are already halfway done, and one's like halfway done or more than halfway. So by the time the first rescue happens, usually 3 ciphers are just about done, or around 300% progress is done, right? So this is gonna be really, really good for first rescue, but usually when it comes to second rescue, it's not gonna be happening anymore. So it's really gonna slow down the late game decoding, which is pretty good because, you know, you already have accelerated decoding that comes in at 3 minutes and 25 seconds or so. So it's like, you know, this is a good change. I mean, in my personal opinion, this is a very good change because audience effect, I think it was personally a very, very interesting strategy. One that was a little bit difficult to pull off as well, which is why I kind of thought it was interesting to watch. However, it was too strong. It was simply too strong. It made it so like hunters, even when they played perfectly, it was so hard to win because audience effect just like made the cipher rush move way, 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 way too fast. And let me tell you, it'll still be good. I still think it's a very good tie trait, potentially even a winning trait, because it just helps out the early game, which can, you know, early game is when hunters are weakest, and when a little bit of, if you have a little bit of bonus in the early game, you know, it can really help out. So I do still believe this is at the very worst an A tier trait, most likely still S tier, but it's no longer going to be like SSS plus tier like it used to be, because I'm telling you, dude, this was quite literally like an extremely busted trait. For how cheap it was broken. Like I'm talking SSS plus, like you should always run it if you know how to implement it well. Now you can just kind of throw it on your Persona Web and it's just good for ties and can help excite you a bit more to a win. It's still a very good trait, don't get me wrong. I think it's still probably an S tier trait, just not as busted as it used to be. That, and they also decided to once again nerf healing. It says fusion on here, but this is healing on the Persona Web. If you don't know what healing does, it basically has 2 effects. One, it reduces the time you take to heal by 15%. They reduced that to 10% now. And over time, for each second, you passively heal up to a certain amount. So they kind of reduced the speed. I think that they reduced the speed that you get per second, it looks like, as well as the total cap of your healing. So for me personally, I bring 3 stacks of healing. That way I can passively heal over time. However, instead of getting 0.6% healing per second, I will now get 0.48% per second. And then same with the caps. They are reduced from 20, 40, 60 to 16, 32, and 48, which I think is a very good change. Again, this trait was also extremely, extremely good. It just made healing so incredibly fast, and I think a lot of people also rated this trait as like an SS tier trait. It was extremely, extremely good. I still think this trait is very good. I still think it is going to be quite good. It's just not going to be like as good. You know, that's kind of how it is. And then for some reason, I don't really know why, they're nerfing Confined Space. I don't know why they're nerfing Confined Space. I really don't understand why. Like, in my personal opinion right now, Confined Space is, for hunters, it is the weakest of the 4 final traits. Insolence is extremely strong on a lot of hunters. I don't know why they're like not maybe slowing down insolence or something. But insolence is, and you get a lot of benefits on the pathway to insolence. I mean, on Confined Space, you get 3 stacks of destructiveness, which is really strong. On the pathway to insolence, you get like reduced healing and stun reduction. So you get a lot of benefits from that, and deer hunt as well, which can help not lose a survivor or something like that. But insolence is quite strong in the meta, especially since it's being used on so many hunters. A good example, Hullabaloo Ivy. I mean, like those two really benefit from insolence. But it's like, compared to trump card insolence detention, I don't know why Confined Space is getting a nerf. I don't see it. And a pretty significant nerf at that, 16 seconds. I mean, like, it's just going to make looping a little bit stronger. That's all it really is going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know why they're nerfing it. Genuinely don't. Maybe they think it just lasts too long. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of unneeded, but whatever. Okay, now it is time to get into most of our character adjustments. I guess they also did add some time slots for 5v5 ranked matches, so that's pretty cool. I don't exactly know how that's gonna work, but I guess they added on some more time, I guess, to the final one. It looks like to like the last 5v5 ranked match session. I guess, I don't know. But first up, we have, or I guess, our character adjustments for today. We have Lucky Guy, Lanternist, Ripper, I believe Adventure is Ember, Hullabaloo, Goatman, and Queen Bee. And a lot of these changes, I cannot lie, guys, I'm not happy about. I will not lie to all of them. So first up, we have Lucky Guy. They gutted Lucky Guy. I'm telling you, they killed him. Lucky Guy, box opening speed goes from 100% bonus of opening to 40%. And then time added to the next opening for each box open goes from 2.5 seconds to 3.5 seconds. So at this point, it's practically a debuff. It's practically, like, I don't even know, like, I'd rather not even take the, like, just give me back old Lucky Guy at this point. Like, I would rather have old Lucky Guy at this point. Genuinely, like, I think you still get a boost for the first one, but I think, like, do you even get a boost for the second one? I don't even know. I generally don't. Like, 40% is not a lot. That's a significant nerf. And then, on top of all that, durability of mechanical puppets obtained from boxes from 50% to 35%. Now, this part I agree with. Because the bot, like, I'm telling you, bot is a broken item. It is fundamentally broken because it is just another person on the field. It can heal. It can decode. It can open gates. It can feed to Nidus. Dude, bot is busted. And they said, Lucky Guy, no more 50% durability, you get 35. I think that's a way better thing to do for Lucky Guy because, Mechanic bot it's already so broken. And even though he uses up more energy than Mechanic does with her bot, 35, that's way more balanced in my personal opinion, especially in this meta that was so significantly Cypher Rush heavy. I mean, Lucky Guy was picked all the time. He was so extremely strong. This is the second wave of nerfs that Lucky Guy has gotten. So now he's gone from being like S tier, tier 0 in China's opinion to, I mean, I still think he'll see play, but he's just a lot more fragile. He can't just, he won't be able to go for those aggressive box opening strategies at the end or at the beginning of the matches where you'll see Lucky Guys like open boxes with Tide Turner, or they'll open boxes like during Hunter's attack recovery. I've seen that even in IJL. So Lucky Guy will not be able to do that anymore. He has gotten a significant nerf. He'll still see play, but a lot less play. Next up, we have Lanternist, and I don't really know what is the wording for this is, but basically they barely touched her. After electrification / hatch opening, the recording duration is shortened by 50%. I don't know if this is just endgame specifically, like her endgame recording is shortened by 50%, or if this is when she's near the dungeon. I don't exactly know the wording of this, but if this is like a, I'm assuming electrification is after all ciphers pop. I'm guessing that just makes her less broken during the end game. So I guess that's something. However, that's it. This character's still broken. Like even if like during end game her recordings are shortened by 50%, like during end game you only really need to buy like a few seconds, and Lancers can already do that. Like even if your thing is set to half, like she can already do that. You just gotta play a little bit smarter during the end game, or if when the dungeon opens. That's really it. I mean, the Lantern is just so broken that like, unless she has like, I'm telling you, dude, this character is gonna be used so much outside of her like instead of her bad matchups. Like she has like 2 bad matchups, Hullabaloo, Sangria, and then maybe like a couple others, but everything else she just like works. She's so broken, dude. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't give her a more significant nerf. Next up we have some Ripper buffs, and Ripper actually got a nice set of buffs, and I actually do agree with most of these because Ripper kind of sucks. So inside the fog area, his ballooning speed increased by 20%, and pallet and window breaking speed and interaction increased by 10%. Both of which I think are good. The balloon speed, I'm a little annoyed about because like Ripper is already, in my personal opinion, a somewhat difficult hunter to harass. He's weak to it, but it also is just like it's just difficult because you can't really see him. So now it's like you have to basically harass an invisible hunter while they're picking up at the speed of light, which is pretty difficult. But you know, with how weak Ripper is in the current meta, I think this is fine. We have optimized fog generation effects, improve hit detection, which is good. We have during phase 2, which I believe this is either full presence or first presence. I don't really know what that is with the translation, but during one of his presences, when using fog hide, which is, you know, hidden in the mist, whenever he goes invisible, additional movement speed plus 5%. I'm assuming this is at full presence, he gets 5% faster. And this is also something that I agree is fine. Because Ripper, I mean, his full presence isn't really anything to write home about, and I think an additional movement speed could help him out just a little bit. And then finally, slightly shorten the stiffness time when normal/cold fog attacks hit map objects. So this is fine, I guess. Like when he misses and they hit map objects, he gets a little bit more time to spam, basically. I mean, these are just a lot of raw stat buffs. These aren't really anything that's like super significant that will help him out like in chase. But all of these are just raw stat buffs, which will add up in the future. From this, in my personal opinion, what this is going to do for Ripper is it's going to make survivors more error prone to Ripper. I don't think this is necessarily going to make Ripper a stronger character. He's going to go from being, low C tier to like high C tier maybe, or like low B tier at the very worst. Or sorry, at the very best. But you know, I mean, at least maybe unless I'm missing something, I don't see him like benefiting that much from this. But it will make survivors, in my opinion, especially with the harassment, it'll be a lot. You'll be a lot more error prone. You'll mess up more versus Ripper basically because he'll be faster. He'll vault things faster. If you try to harass, he picks up faster. He has better hit detection. You know, less lag on his attacks, stuff like that. So you got to be a little bit more strict with your movements. Next up, we have Ember buffs. Now, this one scares me a little bit personally. So his movement speed, his base movement speed, is being changed from 4.64 to 4.73 meters per second. Now, let me tell you guys, for those who don't really know what that means, 4.73 is the fastest base movement speed for all hunters. Hunters have like 3 to 4 base movement speeds. And if you take a look at all of them, you'll kind of see what each person's is. Outside of Hullabaloo, who for some reasons is faster than others, but it's because he needs to get extra hits, every hunter's cap is 4.73. That is the fastest you can go. So for example, Anne, Clerk, you know how fast those hunters are just base walking? I don't know why Anne is 4.73. I really think she should be a 4.64. I agree with Clerk being 4.73, but I don't think Anne needs to be 4.73. There's no reason for that. So whenever you see like an Anne and a Clerk walking towards you, see how fast they are? Ember's that fast now. He's going to be moving 0.09 meters per second faster, and that's significant. That is very significant. Do not get me wrong, that is very significant. Stack that on top of Hunt, and he's even faster. And then not only that, but his flames in his normal state, he gets them 0.1% second faster. That is also quite significant. So Ember is getting some really nice buffs here. Does this make Ember meta? No. Does this make Ember good? I don't think so. Is this going to help Ember's chase a lot? yes, this will help Ember's chase a lot, and even the camp. That way, you know, if you use up your flames during chase, you will be able to have some more flames for camp potentially if you're able to recharge in time. And just in general, having more movement speed on a character, especially a hunter, is never bad. It is never bad. So Leo's gonna be going from, you know, low like a C tier, D tier hunter to a high C tier, D tier hunter. That's it. He's not, in my perspective, I don't think he's gonna become significantly better. But Leo mains are probably seeing this and being like, oh, it's time to cook, bro. It is time to cook. So, you know, all more power to the Leo mains. I mean, there's some crazy Leo mains out there that are just full of tricks and things, and I'm sure they're looking at this and just already licking their lips, especially at the flame resentment. The movement speed is just nice, but the flame resentment, that's what's really nice about Ember. Next up, Hullabaloo. They are killing this, man. They are absolutely gutting Hullabaloo. So we have, you know, we were just talking about movement speed. Movement speed of Hullabaloo once again getting nerfed. This is the second time they've nerfed his passive movement. Now it's going from 5.18 meters per second to 5.1 meters per second. And double surprise, the clone, they have significantly nerfed the cooldown, going from 15 seconds to 18 seconds. Oh my gosh, that cooldown is longer than a bloody queen mirror. That's how long this thing is, bro. So basically, if Hullabaloo, if he misses a single double surprise, like, he's cooked. The thing is, what Hullabaloo is now, he is like what a lot of old hunters used to be, where they used to be like really strong, but now what Hullabaloo is he has a very significantly horrible early game. His early game is going to be so bad now, but I will still say his snowball potential is still good. The problem is you can't spam double surprise. What they're doing for Hullabaloo is they're not making him like as spammy. You basically have to be like extremely precise. Can you still win with this character? Yes. Will he still be good? Yes. Will he still, but is he S tier anymore? I don't think so. I think with this nerf, I think Hullabaloo has finally been removed from S tier. I think he'll still be an A+ tier hunter, but they are gutting him, bro. They said 4 Heavenly Kings. No, you're dead. Cooked Hullabaloo. I genuinely think because he's being played in China so much, they're just trying to kill him. 3 seconds, I'm telling you guys, this is a very big cooldown. For those who don't remember, his cooldown initially on double surprise was 12 seconds. Now it's 18. They gave it a 50% increase over time. 50% increase to your cooldown. Imagine that on any other hunter, they're dead. Imagine that on Night Watch, bro. Imagine if Night Watch's win went from 13 seconds to like 19. Could you imagine? He'd be so bad. I mean, Hullabaloo was broken, so now he's going from broken to manageable. So again, is Hullabaloo still good? In my personal opinion, yes. He is A tier. Is he S tier anymore? I doubt it. Maybe there's a chance, but I'm gonna need to see it first. I mean, maybe it's still barely manageable, but it's gonna hurt him, dude. He does still have good snowball potential. He does still have very good double down potential, but he is no longer like I can just spam. You know, like he wasn't really anymore regardless, but now it's like this character takes a lot more precision to play. And not only that, but right alongside him, Goatman is also getting similar nerfs. Goatman has a 4.72 meters per second speed. I think he used to be 4.73 when he first came out, and then they reduced him to 4.72, which was whatever. And now he is going down to 4.64 meters per second. So basically, he's gonna be a little bit slower. So he basically got the complete opposite treatment of Ember, with Ember speeds up by 0.9. Goatman slows down by 0.8 meters per second. And not only that, but remove the pallet and window speed debuff inside cages by 10%. This, in my personal opinion, is quite significant. It's a little sad, but it is quite significant because I kind of did like the idea of like the mind games, but now they're really trying to hurt Goatman's chase, make it less consistent, make it so you can take more risks, which I think, you know, moving forward is going to be good. But it's a little unfortunate to see. I cannot lie. It's quite unfortunate to see that, you know, Goatman and Hullabaloo are getting such significant nerfs, while Ivy and Sangria, who are still pretty strong. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ivy has seen a lot of nerfs. Sangria has seen a lot of nerfs. But, you know, those ones aren't getting nerfed, like, at all, which is interesting. So I'm a little worried that, like, Koa 9 is just going to be Opera Ivy meta again. Like, they're just going to opt out of Goatman. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Goatman, Hullabaloo, Opera, Ivy, they're all still strong. They're all still quite good. It's just that they're being taken down from their position of, like, being just, like, stupidly broken from just, like, strong. They are all still strong. Do not get me wrong. I'm not trying to call any of them weak. It just takes more skill to play. And that's really just it. It just takes more skill to play. Their abilities are still quite good, but they are much more counterable now, much more tolerable now. And survivors are getting stronger and stronger by the day, bro. Finally, this one makes me personally quite sad. Queen Bee Nerfs. Not one, but 2 nerfs. Mostly to her passives. So, as we can see here, absorption interval in predatory state goes from 1 second to 1.4 second. This is quite significant. So, every single second that you had your bees on a survivor, you would absorb energy from them. And now you only get it every 1.4 seconds. So, unfortunately, this is quite significant to Queen Bee. So, think about this. When I absorbed energy from a survivor as Queen Bee, every 3 seconds, I would get a chip. Now, every 4.2 seconds I get a chip. So they basically increased her cooldown by 1.2 seconds, and that's only if the bees are on top of the survivor. So when they're behind a wall or something, you're not going to be getting it as quickly. So this is going to hurt Queen Bee quite a bit. Not only that, her movement speed increase during absorption goes from 15% to 13%. Mind you, this used to be 20%. Oh my goodness. And now they're just making her slower and slower and slower. Which again, is pretty sad because now, like, I don't know why they did this, because quite literally Nightmare has a faster speed boost. Like, it's like she's basically on par with Nightmare speed boost, basically. So like Nightmare has a 13% for poaching. She used to have 15. Now she's basically matched with Nightmare. So basically, I think Queen Bee is going to be about like similar to Nightmare in terms of like the early speed. But even then, she's not be able to get Hunter's Instinct that well because you got to be like looking at the bees and putting them on the survivor. So she won't even get the Hunter's Instinct bonus, whereas Nightmare can. So she's still going to be even slower than Nightmare, like early game, which is, you know, a little bit sad in my personal opinion, because I love Queen Bee, and a lot of people are telling me that she's not even that strong yet. They're still nerfing her. That's not to say. I've seen a lot of talk from JP and CN, and I believe they think she's actually pretty decent. So maybe we'll see Queen Bee actually get to shine a little bit here. But these are also quite significant nerfs. And this is what I mean, guys. I'm honestly pretty upset about these patches, because for me personally, I think we're heading toward a survivor meta 100%. I mean, it feels like it's going to be a lot of ties, and I do think they're doing a good job of balancing the meta. But I feel like having a bit of imbalance is what makes things what makes the game a little bit spicy. It's like the wabi sabi kind of argument, where it's like, a good balanced game can be fun, but when it's nothing but ties, I feel like it gets a little bit boring. And survivors are quite strong as well, but I still wish there was at least one broken hunter that kind of just like was able to, be the big target, be the big poster child for Koa, because for me, Koa 7, Sangria was running the show, and then you had Gamekeeper as her like backup dancer, and then in Koa 8 you had the 4 Heavenly Kings, the big 4, Goat, Hulla, Opera, Ivy, and now we're heading into Koa 9, where it's like we're gonna have QS, we might have Queen Bee, but QS is not that strong. Queen Bee, from what I've heard, is like 50-50, unknown, probably not that strong. So we're heading into a spot where it's going to be Goatman, Ivy, Hullabaloo, Sangria, except they're just weaker now. And now Survivors is going to be like kind of destroying them, and it's going to be nothing but ties. And I like, from a viewer perspective, it makes me concerned, because especially when they're taking away audience effect, it just feels like we're going to be seeing nothing but ties. It really does. Like, it just feels like we're going to see nothing but ties until one faction messes up, which in my personal opinion is going to make the games quite stale. Whereas, at least in terms of like last Koa 8, it made it very significantly difficult for the players. However, it was quite enjoyable for the spectators, because even though we saw a lot of the same hunters, whenever we saw the survivors do well against them, it was really, really exciting. It really, really was. However, this is also going to make harassment more viable as well with the nerfs and whatnot. So, it's going to make harassment more interesting. So I still think we'll see some interesting games, but I do still wish there was still a little bit more breathing room, at least for the best hunters in the game. And I wish they did maybe make either Qist or Queen Bee like broken for Koa 9, so we'd have one hunter to watch out for Koa 9. But maybe maybe we'll see something come out of the woodworks. Maybe we'll see some more patch updates for Koa 9. Who can really say? But regardless, let me know what you guys think about these buffs and nerfs. They're not my favorite changes, honestly. I mean, I think I agree with anything. I think I would say the Lucky Guy. I think Lucky Guy did need the nerfs. Everything else, I mean, Ripper is fine too. I think Lucky Guy and Ripper are fine. Everything else, oh, and Lantern, yeah, Lantern's kind of, Lantern needs more nerfs. I don't know, Lantern needs more nerfs. But you know, the Hellenber one, I mean, it's like, Hellenber sucks, but like, I don't know, I guess it was fine. But I guess mainly the Hullabaloo Goatman and Queen Bee and Lucky Guy. You know, Lucky Guy was necessary, but it's also kind of sad to see because they gutted him. I mean, Hullabaloo is like, oh man, you gotta play him perfectly now. And then Goatman is just like, he's weaker. And then Queen Bee, I mean, that one just makes me sad. I don't know, bro. It just makes me sad. It really does. I just worry that like Koa is now just gonna be like Hullabaloo round 3, or like Hullabaloo round 2, Goatman and Sangria round 1, and Ivy as well. It's just like, I don't know. But they're just weaker now, so all they do is tie. I don't know, bro. We'll see. Regardless, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. We're definitely heading toward just more and more Survivor. I mean, at this point, for me personally, I might stop banning Hullabaloo Goatman. I'm just gonna start banning annoying hunters like Joseph and like Wax Artist or something, bro. Because like, I feel like a lot of people are just gonna be able to take Goatman and Hullabaloo. Like everybody knows what to do against them now. Like sure they're strong, but like everybody knows what they're doing against them now. I want to get rid of like the annoying hunters. Get Wax Artist out of here, bro. I don't want to deal with that. Clown, maybe him too. I don't want to deal with that, bro. Joseph, you too. Who knows, bro? Who knows? We'll see in the coming weeks. But yeah, enough yapping. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna get the heck out of here. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.